This week's episode of the House of Lords podcast has been brought to you by
us.
Yes, it's brought to you by us. So if you would like to help us sustain this podcast and grow this podcast, here's a few great ways you can do so.
You could share the link to our podcast on your social medias. Let it be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or even MySpace if you're feeling nostalgic.
Yeah, use the hashtag BlurredPod. That's our hashtag. You can join the conversations that we're having. Let us know what you think about the things that we're talking about. On Twitter, you can use the hashtag PodIn. That's a now listening hashtag. Those other people know what you're listening to, as well as a great way to find other podcasts by creators of color. If you want to step it up a little bit and you want to help us out financially, you can check out our Patreon, located at patreon.com/House of Blurreds. We keep it simple. There, you can donate as little as $1 a month, up to even more, whatever you're so inclined to do. There's some great giveaways on there, depending on the different tier levels. Definitely check it out.
Or if you're not too big on commitment, you can visit our PayPal at House of Blurreds, and you can just hit us with a one-time donation because anything counts.
Yes, every dollar counts. Any notes that are left with those donations, be it on Patreon or on PayPal, will be read out on the show. So we'll definitely give you a shout out because we greatly appreciate it. Again, thanks for listening. Now back to the show. Welcome to episode 36 of the House of Lords podcast. We are your hosts. This is Nicole.
And Armani here.
And welcome back. We took a hiatus, a little bit of a respite. And during that time, we've kind of wanted to figure out how we were going to restructure some things. So I think we came up with some really good ideas because we wanted to make sure that we bring in quality content, number one. And number two, I think we were just burnt the fuck out on Game of Thrones. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, I feel like those last few episodes, they didn't feel worthwhile.
Yeah, they just made us angry.
Mm-hmm.
So
we didn't want a podcast of just angry rants and dissing Game of Thrones.
Exactly.
Because that's not how we wanted to end that legacy.
Yeah, especially when we spent so much time loving on and big up in Game of Thrones. It was once we recorded that final episode and I went back to listen to it to edit it, and I was like, damn, this is literally just anger. It wasn't good. So we didn't want to put that out, so we scrapped it. This episode, we are not going to talk about that. When we do our next episode, or there will be spoilers episode, then we'll discuss that a little bit, and then we'll go into what we're moving forward with. But this episode, what we're coming back with, or actually, before we jump into that, so going forward, this is how, we're just going to keep a straight numbering of the podcast because Apple or iTunes has somehow jacked up the numbering of the podcast episodes. So this is actually episode 36, is that what I said?
37.
37. So this is actually episode 37. We've done 37 podcasts. We are about to approach our 1-year anniversary. It's kind of exciting. We've got some special things planned for that 1-year anniversary episode. So definitely be on the lookout for that. So this is episode 37. Even if next episode is There Will Be Spoilers episode, it will just be episode 38. We're just going to keep them going. That makes it a lot easier to keep track numbers wise, especially since I got to figure out how Apple jacked that up. Jacked up the actual sequential numbering somehow, some way. But whatever. So this episode, we're going to talk about A Kon, which is an anime convention that takes place all over the place, but we just went to the one here in Dallas. It was a lot of fun. It was a really good time. Let's just jump right into it. It's an anime convention.
Yes, and I feel like it was a lot different than Comic-Con. Because, like, we've gone to other cons, but I feel like the anime community is just a little closer knit.
Okay, so that being said, let's just get a couple things out of the way. Because I've seen a lot of, I wouldn't necessarily even say a lot of, but I've seen some negative things about this convention. Now, this was our first time going to A Kon. And in previous years, it was held at, like, a hotel to where, I guess, like, you still had to walk maybe from building to building. Now, anybody who's going to, like, really big conventions like Comic-Con and things like that, a lot of times you do have to go outside to different halls and the different, little bit of walking in between locations. So that's not totally unheard of for a convention at all. But this one was previously held at, like, I think a hotel in downtown Fort Worth at one point in time. So this was the first year it was held at Fair Park in Dallas, which is where the Texas State Fair is held. It's right by where the Cotton Bowl happens. So it's an outside area. It's pretty nice. Like, it's pretty large. Obviously it holds Texas State Fair. So it's like a fairground type thing. And it's got a huge fountain in the middle, and it's lined by really big buildings.
That are usually museums.
Yes, there's museums. I'm going to assume maybe conference things are held there. I don't know what else is in the other buildings. I mean, there was legit, like, a museum in one of the buildings. So there's that. Now, it's Texas. It was June and is now July, and it's 100+ degrees outside this time of year. So being outside is kind of rough, but legitimately no one's really hanging out outside for the most part. So that to me really wasn't that big of a deal. Like, that wasn't oh my God, I gotta be outside in 100-degree weather. No, you're walking from one building to the next, and it really wasn't that long of a walk.
And at this point, you live in Texas. You know the weather. It's
hello. So there's that. Now, going from where they had the vendors to, say, the building that had the gaming to the building that had the panels was not that far apart. Like, those were like when you come into the fairgrounds, the first 3 buildings. So again, not that big a deal. And I think that's pretty much where everything was held. There was legitimately those 3 buildings for the most part, and then the building that had the museum, and it had, I guess, like an auditorium or something. I guess that was like the main stage is where the auditorium was, which we didn't even go to because there was nothing there. Like, we didn't even go down there. Where you did the speed dating thing.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
okay.
Downstairs in that building. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. So downstairs in that building, there was an auditorium. We didn't even go down there because there was not something, like, we didn't really, like, yeah, no, whatever. Yeah, layout, not that bad. My only, and we're just gonna start getting this out the way so we can get on to all the greatness that was A Kon, because overall it was a great time. I had a blast. The only downsides that I can say is, I believe initially it was advertised no outside coolers, food, or drink. But I guess probably because of the heat, they quickly changed that, because I've seen tons of people walking around with water bottles they clearly brought in. They had, once you got through the gates to the fairgrounds, like, they had a big thing set up with like 3 different spigots for free water, so you could refill water bottles. So, I mean, they came prepared for people to be able to refill stuff with water. So there was water readily available. I don't feel like it was very accessible for handicapped people. That's probably the one downfall, because when you walk up in, like, the main area you're walking around, it's kind of cobblestone, like it's stony. So one, shout out to anybody who was wearing heels in cosplays, because that shit was not easy to walk on.
Let's just shout out all the people that were in cosplay in this 98-degree weather.
Yo,
because they definitely deserve a medal of some kind.
Yeah, that was, man, it was amazing. Well, again, we're gonna get, so honestly, I think that's really my only, no, it's not. I guess that's the main important gripes. It's just, it wasn't very accessible for disabled people would be the biggest thing. Now, off of that, from the guests, I will say, and I guess this has to do with, because when conventions have vendors, those vendors apply, or panelists, they apply to be panelists. I'm pretty sure some people are invited, are asked to come by invitation, so I'm pretty sure they probably reach out to some of your big names in anime, as far as voice actors and things like that go. And other people to come, sure, okay. Now, I'm not the biggest anime fan in the world, by any means. I'm not the biggest anime fan. You're a way bigger anime fan than I am. Who's your favorite voice actor?
Chris Sabat.
Okay. So, outside of Chris Sabat, who's number 2?
That's the only one I know.
Okay, then there's my point. So, outside of like literally a handful. Now, this is us. Now, I know there are probably people who are like, oh, Schimmel, the dude who's doing all the voices in the Marvel. No, that's video games. That's not even anime. But he probably does anime. So, Troy Baker, like, I don't know if Troy Baker does anime or if he just does video games. I don't even know. But what else? I didn't even know who the fuck Troy Baker really was until like E3 this year, but what else? And don't at me. I don't care. So like for when it comes to voice actors, for the most part, I guess unless you are a die-hard anime stan, this is not even a fan anymore. Like you're at this point, you're beyond a fan. You're a stan, which is I mean, there's a lot of, I'm gonna say there's a lot, or a person who just really, this is the main form of entertainment they consume, because when it comes to movies and or music, it's different. I mean, I'm pretty sure there are people who digest a lot of anime or intake a lot of anime who know those voice actors
in each anime that they go to.
Yeah, and quicker than they could recognize probably some movie stars or music people. So there's probably a legitimate fan base that recognizes that. Now, that being said, even looking at the voice actors who were there when you went to the profiles to look at who they voiced,
it was a lot of like additional voices.
Yes. So it didn't even seem like there was no real stellar standout like I thought that there would have been. Like I would have thought, especially since it's Dallas, Texas, that there would have been a Chris Sabat. Like I would have thought that someone from Funimation would have been there, and there was zero Funimation representation. The fact that Funimation is based right down the freaking road, there was not a tent at Fan Expo. They at least had like a Funimation tent inside the vendor hall where they were selling a shit ton of Dragon Ball merch. They had pops. They had, I don't even think, like, Sabat wasn't even there. He wasn't even at Fan Expo. But they at least had a tent, a vendor booth with merch, pops. They were selling t-shirts. They were selling all those Dragon Ball jackets. Like, there was representation. There was no Funimation representation at this convention, which to me is crazy. It's an anime convention in your backyard and you're not there. To me is mind-boggling. I feel like that would almost, I would take it as a slap in the face. Now, I have not gone back to see if any of these people have been at previous A Kons. No, I take that back. Because I think a year or two ago when we were talking about going to A Kon, there was people there who were recognizable who we were talking about wanting to go see. I think there was Dragon Ball representation there. So, yeah, to me, that's the one thing that I felt just kind of, that stood out. And it's a shame because people came from all over to come to this convention. Like, there were vendors there who came. There was this amazing popcorn lady. I don't have the cards in front of me, damn it. And I made it a point to get all these cards because I was going to talk about it on the podcast, and I will leave links in the show notes because I have them. I'm just not going to grab those cards at this moment. So there'll be links in the show notes to these people and to their pages, and we can find them. But there was this great popcorn vendor. She came from Iowa. And I was like, oh shit, you're from, like, I was like, are you based in Texas? Because after I tasted her Cinnabon popcorn, I was like, yo, where can I go get this? And she was like, oh, we're in Iowa, but we ship everywhere. And I was like, hey, so what brought you to Texas? The convention. I was like, you came from Iowa to Texas for an anime convention to push
sell popcorn.
I'm like, yo, okay, shout out to you, sis. Like, black
That's
woman.
true faith in your product.
Okay, so parking lot conversation topic piece. This was a black woman. This was a black owned business. Okay, I'm gonna put that right there because there's a reason for bringing that up. So, black owned business. Now, there was another young lady artist from San Antonio who was there. I do have her information. You can find her on Instagram at empty EMPTY _ holiday. Her artwork is amazing. Her drawings amazing. Prints very reasonably priced as well for the sizes of what you got. So check her out. That's on Instagram. You can order her stuff. She was from San Antonio, but she came up here. So you have people who, you know, came from all over to come to this convention. When vendors come, they have to pay for their space. They have to pay for hotels, like where they're going to stay. They have to pay for transportation to get to the convention, to get all their shit hauled to the convention. So, like, these people put out money to come to this, to be here. And again, I think it's sad when you don't see the big names in the community stepping up to be
help
there.
out these smaller conventions.
Yes. And A Kon, this was 30 years. A Kon was what I think. This was 30 years of A Kon. This is the 30th year they've done this convention. This isn't something new. This isn't necessarily some small mom and pop type shit. This convention has been around for a while. So yeah, and I mean, I guess like a year or so ago, you know, some stuff happened to where they got removed from the venue they were using previously because people fucked shit up. People got rowdy, you know, some shit happens, you know. Anime fans are a special breed anyway. Breed. Yeah. So I mean, it's like, yeah, they're like rock and roll fans. So maybe sometimes shit's gonna get a little out of hand. Bubbles might get put in fountains. Whatevs. It, you know, shit happens. But on the same token, it's just like, it's sad. To me that fucking sucks. I think that's trash. You've got these fans who support your work. Like, that's how I feel about that. Any thoughts from you on that?
Well, I was just thinking, because I didn't read up too much on it, but depending on how bad it was, Funimation may have been trying to separate themselves from it. Because again, we didn't see how bad what got them kicked out of the hotel was. But no, I'd say my only complaint was I feel like there should have been more water stations than just the one at the very, very front.
Yeah, okay, you're right. Because there was two separate entrances that were at opposite ends of the fairgrounds. So having a second one probably would have been a good idea. I totally agree with that.
Yeah, especially from the distance between those two entrances. Because I walked all the way across once by myself, and I was ready to pass out by the time I got to the car.
I mean, we had been there like all day. So, oh man, we'd been there for but
that was coming straight out of us chilling in the press area.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I don't think it looked like Funimation had been there since like 2017. So that sounds like, yeah, 2 years ago. Okay. So we're gonna get off of that, but now I want to say one of my favorite part. Before we get on to the greatest, the other thing was, and I'm guessing this is it's not a negative as far as the con itself goes or the con organizer. I think it was just based on what they had to work with. So where the panels was in one big building, and they were separated by like cloth dividers. So
you had like 6 panels going on, but you're hearing everything going on around you. So
it wasn't like they were in legitimately separated rooms, like when you go to a hotel conference room type thing, how they were separated by like more solid walls. It was pretty close together. But again,
everyone was still enjoying themselves.
Yes, everyone was still having a good time. It was a lot of fun. Now, my favorite part of this convention was the meetups. So we went. Now this is it's fucking hilarious because it's not even anime related. It was a Marvel meetup. Like there was a Marvel meetup of all the people, not all, because this is my other gripe. I fucking hate Fanguru. Okay, this is now like the 4th or 5th convention I fucking have been to that uses Fanguru's shitty app to show scheduling, okay? Because there was no physical maps given out. When we picked up our press pass, there was no physical maps, okay? When I went to LeakyCon and I picked up press passes, there was physical maps. I get it. That shit's expensive to print. Cool, what have you. So we resort to using Fanguru. Fanguru is the worst piece of shit informational app ever. I fucking hate it, okay? Because it does not give you details on where things really are, especially if the map that is provided or is on their app of where things are supposed to be is not labeled properly. Like, that was because
that was the most frustrating thing, was trying to find out where everything was located and only knowing like 3 points on the map.
Yes, like you had the main buildings were notated on the map. However, where all the meetups were at was not well like shown on the map. The map was terrible, and I hate Fanguru because, like, man, and this again, but this is not any shade on A Kon, because
I was about to say we're not getting invited to the next A Kon.
No, this is not them. This is fucking the way Fanguru is set up, because I had the same issue at Fan Expo Dallas, and I actually missed the Marvel meetup at Fan Expo Dallas because of this, because I could not fucking find out where the meetup location was, and I'm fucking walking around in circles and I'm looking for it, and then the volunteers who work there don't know shit.
That's the most irritating thing. That was my gripe, is hiring people, and I understand not everyone is there on a daily basis, but if you're going to work this convention, at least be able to answer a few questions.
They at the very least should have maps to be able to tell people where stuff is at and where stuff is located. Like, I don't give a shit if no guest has a map, but the people working that you have posted up at informational points or at checkpoints that are sitting there watching things, the people who are working the doors, they should have a map, and they should be able to point people in the direction of where things are taking place. So if I ask you where the meetups are at, they should be able to say, hey, it's over there. The dude who we asked had no clue. We asked him but it was by the children's aquarium. They're like, where's the aquarium at? It was like, oh, that's over there. Okay, now we have
a general idea of
which direction to walk into. But yeah, Fan Expo Dallas. Yeah, and then like mad late, I was like, hey, where is this? And they were like, oh, that's outside, across the street from the K. Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center. Now, if anybody's ever been to the K. Bailey Convention Center in downtown Dallas, that building is fucking huge. It was not fun having to try to find shit. So when things like meetups or like little things like that happen that aren't taking place in main halls or main rooms that have legitimate like door numbers and building numbers and shit on it, I fucking hate Fanguru. Like, that to me is trash. Yeah, for that. It's a great reminder app, because you can say hey, add this to my to-do list of shit, and then it will notify you a million goddamn times that, hey, this starts in 20 minutes, this starts in 30 minutes. So it's great for reminders, but it don't tell you where shit is at. So I hate Fanguru. If they have a convention, we're not getting invited to that.
They're definitely not sponsoring any podcast.
Yeah. So once we found the Marvel meetup, it was the livest shit ever. There's a crap ton of pictures on our Instagram, so you can follow us on Instagram if you're not already at House of Blurs, all one word, on the gram. Check out our pictures. I'm going to post some more because I figured I should stagger them, not throw everything out there at one time. Oh, it was so great. Like, the cosplays were so great. They were such high-level cosplays, like just well-done costumes. It was amazing to see. And then it was like, I love seeing families cosplay. So there was this family where the dad was dressed up as Captain America. They had the baby Captain America. The daughter was dressed up as Spider-Man. And the mom was dressed up as Domino.
Oh, I didn't even notice the mom.
Yeah, she was pushing the stroller most of the time because he was handling the kids. Oh my God, their daughter was the most adorable freaking thing, and she totally. And I loved it because it's one thing when you see parents try to push their kids to do shit. Like, hey, go take this picture. Hey, we want you to pose like this. But no, like the shit she was doing was her idea. So there was an Iron Man there, of course, and they set up group shots. And they set up versus shots, like they say, hey, everyone from X-Men come up, everyone from Iron Man, run down so people can get pictures of these groups of people, these cosplayers together. She wanted to do that scene where Tony died. Mm-hmm. And like she was sitting over him. So most morbid thing ever, so it just made it even more enjoyable. Like, I loved it that she wanted to do that. So that picture, oh my God, as soon as they set it up and she dropped her little head into her hands, I was like, I'm gonna take this picture and start crying. I was like, oh my God, I shouldn't be crying right now. And then they did another one where they had Tony lay on the ground. It was funny because the dude who cosplayed Tony Stark.
I have his Instagram.
You have it up?
Yeah. It is Snake, SNAKE_N_DA_BOX.
Okay, so Snake in the box. For his Iron Man costume was on point. On his Instagram, he has a bunch of other cosplays as well that he's done. A lot of Snake, obviously. But it was funny because it's like his costume wasn't like flex, like it wasn't bendable. So he had to have people help lay him down. But again, a nod to the fucking community, man. Like people like ran over, like stepped up to like help lay him down. And then when it was time for him to get up, like mad people just like went over and just like helped him get up. And he laid on the ground for like a minute because we did the little girl one. Then they did all the Spider-Mans. And that one they did a couple of the all Spider-Man shop, but that was super dope. I loved it.
And I also love that nobody was crapping on anybody's cosplay. Like everyone was equally great out there. Like regardless if you put days, months, like a whole year into making your costume, or you threw it together in just that week, everyone showed their appreciation to everybody.
Yeah, it was a great atmosphere. It was super positive. It was family friendly. I will say this was a family friendly convention for sure. So I would definitely recommend bringing the kids out. Again, cons can't do shit about the heat. The heat is the heat. Like it is what it is.
It's Texas.
Yeah, exactly. It's Texas. Bring an extra water bottle. If you don't already have at least one or two of those Wild Bill metal cups with you, like to bring back to the conventions. Do you even go to conventions? Like, anyone who's been to at least like 2 cons knows what I'm talking about. But yeah, so yeah, it was super family friendly. The kids were out there having a great time. Yeah, it was such a positive atmosphere. It was so much fun. I thought it was going to be way more packed than it was, and I'm glad it wasn't as packed as I thought it was going to be. And maybe because, like, maybe it was just a nod to there was probably a shit ton of people there, but again, no one's outside. Like, you're not going to be outside. You're going to be in the buildings doing something.
And the gaming and the actual exhibit hall were separated.
Yeah.
So that made it a lot more spacious.
Yeah, to be able to get around, so they weren't constantly bumping into people and stuff like that. So I actually appreciate how it was laid out. That to me actually was a plus. I'm okay with where it was at. Can we do this in the fall when it's not 100 degrees out there? Like, can we get it? Yeah. If the heat wasn't what it was, it would have been 100%. Like, it would have been perfect. And, if we could do something about Fan Guru. But, so, super family, good atmosphere, super friendly. Everyone is out there just having a great time. Complimenting each other's costumes, complimenting your gauges.
Yeah, I did get a lot of compliments on my clear gauges, which I have learned those are like a rare thing. They are a rare thing. Because most people, you get big gauges, like, because mine are 28 millimeters, so a little bit over an inch. And a lot of times they use like flashy jewelry. But mine are just clear, so subtle flex.
Okay.
That's what it's come to.
So there was a Black Panther. And I will pull his info up. That Black Panther cosplay was amazing as well. He did the damn thing with that. Like, there was so much detail. And it was a Black Panther meets Jon Snow type thing, is what I'll say. Because he had a big ass sword.
Yeah, and he had a sword and the cowl on. Or not the cowl. What are they called? Capes?
Yeah. The one that Jon Snow wore, the Starks wore, basically. So his Instagram is brother BRUTH, or no, it's just BRUTH. There's no A. Cosplay, all one word, on the gram. Check him out. Yeah, Cosplay Cam is dope. And evidently, like, I think he's actually been at conventions as a like guest for his cosplay. It looked like I've seen a couple from like a couple different cons where like he was a guest at them. So yeah, it's like amazing Black cosplay for real. So that was one. So we were sitting there and we were doing the different like setups for the different cosplays or the different group shots. Because then we started this outside. We started them outside, which it was the area where the meetups was at was very nice. So it was like perfect, like a little sunken area. So there was like people could sit down. It was actually kind of shaded, so it was under trees. Yeah, that was a great spot to do a meetup in 100-degree weather. So did a bunch of them outside, and then they were like, hey, if you get hot, if you feel, go inside. We'll meet you inside because we're going to head inside anyway. So then we went inside and did some more group shots or did some more shots. And the little Spider-Man wanted a picture with Black Panther. Like, when it was kind of wrapping up, she was trying to, like, get someone's attention to tell them that she wanted a picture with Black Panther. And her dad at first thought she said Spider-Man, or I think she said Miles.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, she's like Black Panther, and her dad didn't hear it, and I was like, no, she wants Black Panther. So then they got her a picture with Black Panther, and that was super cute. And I was like, yeah, we're gonna get her the picture she wants. And he was like, well, thanks, because he was juggling the baby. Yeah, again, just it was so great. And so they were asking people, are there any like matchups that you guys wanted, any matchups anybody wants to do? So I asked for Miles Morales and Black Panther. And boy, when I tell you, when that happened, like tears, like real ass, started crying, tears. Because again, it's just like, as a Black nerd who has waited so long to see your heroes represented on the big screen and represented like this and celebrated like this, it's a real fucking thing. Like, that is a real movement. It's a real feeling. So whenever people say shit, when people talk about how representation matters and anyone tries to even dismiss it or downplay it at all, it pisses me off, because I know what it feels like to be in those moments and you see that and you're like, holy shit, and you're moved to that much emotion. Like, it's real, and we really need to stop dismissing that, because representation does matter. It is a big deal. Every child should be able to look at a screen and not just be able to empathize or relate to a character. They should be able to literally look at a character and it looks like them. For so long, we've, as people of color, have looked at white stories or read white stories in books, because characters who you can read a book and when that person ain't Black or ain't Puerto Rican, or they're not a person of color, you can read those stories and it, but you can relate to it. You still get engulfed in those stories, and you use your imagination and you can still relate to it. Whereas there are people who, when they look at our stories, they're like, oh, that's a Black character. Like, there are some people, and they don't feel like, they don't understand why we need those characters. And again, kids should be able to look at a character and see someone who looks like them. And the thing that I think to me even made it a little bit more touching was the fact the two dudes playing Miles, it was a kid who was probably about 13, 14, maybe, and then a grown man. They were both white. So to see and this is, I don't know, maybe I'm just mad fucking emotional. But and I was in a store the other day working, and this young white kid walked in there with a Black Panther t-shirt on. And I was just like, damn, it's like, racism is not natural. That's not a natural thing. That's something that people are taught. People are taught to hate people who don't like them. So the fact that these white kids, this white man, can see a Black character and embrace it wholeheartedly, people need to stop saying that these black characters or characters of color or gay characters and things like that can't carry a franchise or can't carry a movie, because they can. And it's been proven. As long as it is good quality content that you're writing and not just some regurgitated bullshit, then people are going to consume it and they're going to enjoy it, regardless of what color they are. So yeah, the doors need to be opened even more than they are starting to be. But yeah, so the Miles and Black Panther picture made me cry. And I was like, I need to get up and I need to move before people see me crying. It's just sweat. I'm just sweating.
Why is this grown woman on the floor crying?
Yeah.
Can someone come get their kid?
Because some of them get their mom. So that was great. Some of my other, what were some of your favorite photos, or kind of like?
Well, my favorite photos. Okay, I was gonna say my favorite photos were the ones I took because I got to be someone's personal photographer because their sister didn't want to take their pictures. He did a really nice Venomized Spider-Man, and I do have his Instagram, which is VAKERMAKER, and he was really nice.
That's all one word?
Oh, yes, all one word.
Okay.
All one word, and it's on the gram. I'd say my favorite part was actually going out and doing interviews with some of our fellow blurds.
Yes. Okay, so this was your first convention working.
Yes, this is my first where I actually got my press passes.
Yes.
Where I was actually legit. They put some respect on my name finally.
So yeah, this is the first one you've done. Okay, so continue, not to cut you off.
But yes, talking to our fellow blurds, and a lot of them. Okay, so I went around asking, what does being a blurred mean to you? And a lot of them talked about how being at those cons and being able to be so comfortable around other people and seeing other people of color was so important to them, because many times growing up, when you're black and you like things like anime or rock and roll music and stuff like that, you're seen as not black. Like you're on the outside looking in, kind of, regardless of if you play sports, anything. Those small little details will have people looking at you sideways. So it was great to see so many black kids be happy and open about who they are and what they like.
Oh,
we won't do some editing. No.
I was about to say, what, are you emotional? No.
But it's like I relate to that because, growing up, I loved anime. But for me, it was different because, you always made it to where we were comfortable with ourselves. And not everyone had that growing up. So to see those kids... And another thing, they were super friendly. Everyone was super nice and super friendly. And really, honestly, if you were black and... I'd say in the age range, because, we weren't talking like the 30-year-olds and everything. But, young kids in their 20s, everyone was so friendly to each other. Like, you could make friend groups real easily.
Yeah. So, speaking of that, this was a great convention to, if you're an introvert, if you're a person who doesn't go out a lot, if you're a person who, may consider yourself socially awkward, this was a great convention to go to and just be your full authentic self and to be embraced. There were so many great gender bends, be it men playing female characters.
We did see a Scooby-Doo gang composed completely of men. Yes,
which was dope. There was a whole gang of Snow Whites. The Snow White gang was comprised of 2 chicks and 5 dudes in varying Snow White dresses and outfits of I forgot what it's called when people do the Disney so because you can't wear costumes to Disneyland. So people, what they'll do is they'll wear outfits in the color palettes of what the princesses wear. So that's essentially who they're trying to mimic. There's an actual term for it. But anyway, so there was one dude who was with them who he had on the Snow White colors. But yeah, that was adorable. Gender bends as well. The LGBT community was definitely out. I mean, and it could have been a combination of its Pride and A Kon, but just out representing capes and everything. And yeah, it was really nice to see. Okay, so that chick who I said was Sailor Moon, you were that's not from Sailor Moon. What was that from?
It wasn't Sailor Moon. It was just a schoolgirl. Are you talking about she had a cape on?
No. She had on the trans colors.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a schoolgirl, but in just trans colors. It wasn't Sailor Moon.
I would say it was Sailor Moon-esque, because she looked like one of the Sailor chicks from Sailor Moon. What else? I still think that's what it was from, and it was just... But her outfits, the colors, were in the colors from the trans flag. So, that was super dope. And she had 2 people who were with her, the 2 chicks who were with her. were carrying different flags as well. So yeah, I mean, there was a lot of great variations and plays on different costumes and different characters. That was great.
Yeah, that was another good part. Getting to walk around and be the anime ambassador and being like, oh no, that's not Sailor Moon, or that's that person. Be able to flex my anime knowledge.
Yeah, because I was definitely out of my element for the most part. There was mad times we'd see somebody and I'm like, oh, who's that? So it was a lot of fun. I did come home and start watching Tokyo Ghoul.
No one told her to do that. Just so it was not my suggestion. I'd like to just put that out there now.
So far it's okay. It's not bad. So the other meetup we went to was the JoJo's Bizarre Adventures meetup. Okay. So I'd heard people talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. Further, we'll just refer to as JoJo's Bizarre. So I've heard people talk about this anime before. I've seen memes of stuff, and none of it was what the fuck, though. Was none of that. First off, the cosplays were great. I thought they were super cute. Took a bunch of pictures. I've never watched this anime, not once. Again, the memes I've seen had nothing to do with this, so I don't know where the fuck those memes came from. But yeah, I mean, all their cosplays, all the costumes were super, super good. They were really good. And then I loved JoJo's Bizarre is broken up into different series, or there's different parts. It's like part 1 through 7 or some shit like that. So I guess over the span of the years that it's come out, I Wikipedia it a little bit to see, because what they were calling, they were telling people, okay, everybody from part 1, everybody from part 2, so they would come up, and it was okay, so this legitimately is I don't really know if it's an anthology per se, but let's just say it's an anthology. Let's just say it's an American Horror Story. And they were like, hey, everybody from Coven come up. So you literally had people cosplayed from just different parts of this long ass running series, which is another great thing, because now Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, but Spider-Man is Spider-Man. Yes, there are different, there was a ton of different variations of Spider-Man. There was somebody said Spider-Ham. There was
Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales, Peter B. Parker.
Yes. There was the New York Spider-Man. What's his name? Is that the New York Spider-Man? What's his name? What do they call him?
I thought that was
the
his
one
name.
from the 20s.
Noir Spider-Man.
Okay, whatever. So there was a guy whose cosplay was so on point, and in one of the pictures he had the pose perfect. So I mean, Spider-Man is Spider-Man. Whereas this was legitimately a ton of different characters from throughout this anime, and people they picked ones that they wanted to cosplay. I thought that was super dope. You have this big, huge array of characters spanned across a story, and fans didn't just say, oh, I'm gonna pick this one popular one. X-Men, for example, okay?
Everyone wants to be Wolverine.
You're gonna have some rogues or an easy one. Psylocke has become popular. Storm, not the easiest to pull off, but also popular. So you get those. There was a Kitty Pryde there, who was clearly a comic book fan, because she requested to get a picture of her with all the Spider-Men, all the Peters, because she knew that Kitty Pryde had dated every single Peter in every single universe. And I was just like, girl, if you don't take this picture and get out of here. But again, it was cute. So she got the picture with her and all of the Peters. So it was Peter Parker and Peter Quill. She got everyone up there, because evidently they did it at some point too. I don't know when that was. I have not read that comic book. But yeah, so stuff like that was cute. But yeah, I mean, there are those typical go-to costumes that people will choose, or characters people will choose to cosplay. And again, here at a specifically anime convention, there was such a vast array of costumes. There was some great Victorian. There was a lot of Victorian style, and I guess
steampunk.
No, damn it. I think the term is kawaii or something like that. In Japanese, it means cute.
Yeah, kawaii.
Okay, so that is a thing, a big thing. So, again, in anime, there's all these little subcultures. And the kawaii crowd was well represented. They had a whole luncheon. So, like, yeah, before, in that thing, they legitimately had a lunch.
I did walk in.
A tea party. They had a tea party. I was like, damn, I wish I didn't know that was a thing. I would have tried to get it, at least, be there to take photos. Because those dresses, again, shout out to the detail and the time spent, I'm sure, on assembling those dresses. Because it's not some shit you can just go into a store and buy. Like, you have to make that shit is sewn. I'm pretty sure you could buy it from someone, but someone made that. Like, someone put time into those. If you did buy it, you spent some money on it, for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Which brings us to another great cosplayer as well as creator. So, oh gosh, I hate that. My stuff is moving so slow. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so Hard Decora. It's hard. You can find them at Hard_Decora. Hard Decora on Instagram. First off, her shirts and the stuff that she creates is so damn cute and colorful. It is one of them things where, like, yo, she's like that all the time. Like, she had those pink braids in her hair, the super colorful, like, cute stuff. Now, a lot of the stuff that's on the Instagram page is like pastel color stuff like that, but she managed to still pull off that look and that style in a black dress, which I thought was super cute. I was like, okay, if I can wear black, then I can jump on board with this, like, because I'm not here.
Black's in the color palette.
Yeah, because I can't do all that pastel stuff and all the glitter and the stuff on the face. But if we can get a black in here, I'm all for it. And she on the cutest little black dress. So yeah, it was cute. And again, she has a fan base, a serious fan base. So, like, yeah, people were like, we're just, like, one, looking for her. But I guess she's pretty big in this movement, or in this, what do you want to call it? In this group, or, I don't know. I don't want to say subculture, because subculture almost seems like it's discounting these fans, and I don't want to do that. Because then also looking up, like, other things. Oh, well, no. You did do an interview. You did speak to her?
Yeah, I did speak to her.
Okay, so here's a little sample of the interview we did with Hard Decora.
Okay, you can start with your name. All right. My name is Kamala Jones, a.k.a. Hard Decora. Being a black anime nerd means, like, being introduced to the fashion styles that I love. I started out with gals, and that really, like, turned me on to, like, J fashion, and, like, in a rebellious way. I love that anime. They've always, like, challenged the school dress codes and things like that, and I really wanted to emulate that when I was going to school. And now I, like, do my own illustrations for my own clothing brand, and yeah, it's just, like, something that can lead to something more. It's not just, like, something that's, like, childish phase, it's it can turn into a business for you. Okay. Thank you.
So yeah, she was super sweet. Totally impromptu, just down to answer a question and chit chat. So again, you can find her at Hard_Decora on Instagram. So definitely check her out. Check out her t-shirts. They're really fun. The designs are great. And yeah, so you did speak to some other people while we were out and about too. So
I did.
So one of the people that group of people they spoke to was this family of
black cosplayers.
Yes.
Who their cosplay was on point. They had one member who choreographed dances that they would do, because they did a really nice Five Nights at Freddy's where they posted up at a convention and they were just, like, dancing like animatronics, which is really nice. They have their own podcast called the Oki Podcast. You can find it at okei.podcast on Instagram, I believe. It's also on Apple Music and Spotify.
Okay, so the normal big ones where you find a podcast.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and play a snippet of that interview.
Shallon, like so you can start with your name. Shallon, like the temple. And what does being a black nerd mean to you? You have to get out here and represent, but in a very positive way. That black people actually like more than what stereotypes say we do.
Go.
Okay, start with your name.
My name is Trevon Dimerson.
And what does being a black nerd mean to you?
It means that I'm better than everyone else. That means I just get to enjoy a different perspective of the cons. Because I get to cosplay as characters some people are reluctant to because of their skin color. But that doesn't mean I can't cosplay as whatever I want to. And some people are really afraid of that. Like, I don't look like this character enough. It's like, whatever, man. If you don't look like that character, you know what? Be the big bad villain monster in the background. Just have fun.
All right, thank you.
So I loved the comment that he made about people being scared to cosplay characters they don't look like. And obviously that's been a big shitstorm on social media at times because you don't have to be black to cosplay a black character. Like, if you do the costume well enough, people will know who you're supposed to be. Blackface ain't okay. It's never okay. And same way, you know, a black person can cosplay a character that is traditionally white or Asian in a story. They don't have to paint their faces, like, to do that. Like, they can dress up and it just be on fucking point.
And to add to that, you also don't have to look at these drawn anime characters' body types and feel like you don't have the body type to represent this character.
Yes, facts. Facts on facts on facts. Another shout out to all of the plus size cosplayers out there doing the damn thing, because truthfully, some of those even look better than the people who may have necessarily normally fit the body types of characters. Again, just the great thing about this convention was the body positivity. Again, it was just nice. It was very nice to see. And people just fucking doing like the damn thing. Like, there are people out there with people bigger than me out there, belly shirts, just had it all hanging out. Just, again, it's 100 degrees outside, so it could have been that. It was a great time. People were being themselves, and I mean, I love that. That's the thing that you really walked away with. And I think that this might be a thing. Okay, so to kind of wrap this up, I do feel like this is a thing or feeling that very well might be exclusive to an anime convention. I do definitely feel like this convention, this anime themed convention, felt different than other conventions I've been to. It felt different than LeakyCon. It felt different than Fan Expo. It felt different than the other one in Dallas. Like
Fan Days.
Fan Days.
Oh.
No, Fan Expo and Fan Days are different things. But it felt very different. Like, it felt way more inclusive. It felt positive. Like, it just had a different aura about it. That was just love.
I agree. As someone that watches anime, I feel like there's a bigger acceptance when it comes to body types. Because, again, these are drawings. Not to say comic books and everything aren't drawings, but when you see superheroes, you're not thinking plus size. You're thinking chiseled abs, very slim waist.
It's not a single plus size superhero. Now that you say that, now I'm thinking about it. Ain't no thick superhero. Thick Thor. Hey, so shout out to all the thick white dudes playing thick Thor at the conventions. Y'all got y'all one. Like, again, like, thick Thor has made it acceptable for, and I say white dude just because I have not seen a black dude do it yet, but shout out to the black dudes, you want to do it too. Come as thick Thor. Come as thick Black Panther. Okay. Now, challenge, I want to see a thick Black Panther cosplay. Now that I've spoken this out loud, I want
M'Baku.
No, M'Baku's M'Baku. I want to see a thick Black Panther. But yeah, so like thick Thor has like made it super cool for the non-chiseled dudes to show up to a convention in a bathrobe with a fake jug on with, either their legitimate hair just out or a blonde wig, and it's like awesome, and you're like one of the most popular people now at the con. So shout out to you guys, and congratulations. But yeah, again, it was a great time. Anything you want to end with, kind of in closing, wrap it up?
No, I'd like to just thank the curators of A Kon for inviting us and having us out there.
Yes. That was amazing. Thank you. Definitely look forward to next year. He will be going back for sure. That was a great time. It was a lot of fun. So if you're ever in Dallas when A Kon is going on, it traditionally happens in June, towards the end of June. There is an anime fest that happens, like Anime Fest North Texas or something like that goes on too.
Yes, Anime Fest 2019 will be in Dallas. It will be August 16th through the 19th.
Okay.
At the Sheraton Hotel, just in case anybody wants to go.
So yeah. Definitely check out A Kon if you're in the area. Or if there's an A Kon near you, check out, do a Google search of A Kon and see if they come to your city, because I believe the convention pretty much travels. So they are in different places. So for us, next up on the docket, we will be coming back with a fresh new There Will Be Spoilers episode. And on that episode, we will be spoiling
Euphoria, Big Little Lies, and Handmaid's Tale.
Yes. So those are the 3 that we are pretty much watching right now. We will talk about some of the things that we have watched, that we have seen on that episode as well. So maybe some things you should check out. We will just,
We're going to stick to table talk with this one.
Yeah. We're not going to do in-depth breakdowns anymore because that causes us to get emotionally tied into shows and they let us down. So thanks to Game of Thrones, I now have trust issues. I don't want to be that, I'm not going to go into it again. Again, this was the problem with recording that episode, because it was just like, I feel like I have been emotionally invested and devastated. That was the worst breakup ever.
Reclaim your time, Mom. Reclaim your time.
I'm reclaiming my time. So yeah, on our next episode, we'll talk those shows. We will talk post E3, lack of PlayStation being at E3, so what's coming next for gaming, because truthfully, part of the reason why I've put off doing an E3 episode, because I've been waiting to see if there was going to be a Days of Play, and there ain't been one, and it's not going to be one. So there's not going to be a Days of Play before I go to San Diego, so fuck it. We're going to just talk E3. We'll talk video games. Those will not be the same podcast. It'll be separate podcasts. So those are some things that we've coming up on the horizon. So thanks for tuning back in. Thanks for hanging with us. Shout out to the people who have been looking for the podcast while we've been on break. We appreciate you. We see you. And until next time, take care of yourselves and be good to each other.